Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Fantasticapz with Joss Whedon's amazing show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is the only Fantasticapz I will be doing this week, as Once Upon a Time was not on, and that takes up about 50% of my attention, so I got to spend 100% of it on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it was a pretty busy week, so that's why this video is coming out a little late. Let's get to it. This episode is called Repairs. Hannah Hutchins, a quality control engineer at Fantasticapz, a particle acceleration lab in Batesville, Utah, experiences telekinetic abilities she cannot control when she becomes upset or stressed out. The team goes in and attempts to talk to her, but May winds up shooting her with a night-night gun, sedating her, and bringing her aboard the bus to keep her protection and the safety of the town. Hannah tells Coulson and May about the accident that occurred at Fantasticapz with the particle accelerator and explains that 4 people died, one of which was a man named Tobias Ford. Soon after, Phil is informing his team of what Hannah told them. Before the screen cuts to commercial, we see a silhouette of a man in the background for a few seconds before he vanishes into thin air. Skye does some digging on Fantasticapz and discovers what we already know, that Hannah worked with a man named Tobias Ford, or, as we know him, the mysterious man who's working his way around the plane. Simmons is analyzing a hologram of the particle accelerator and discovers that it opened some kind of window to hell, as Ford puts it when he gives Gemma quite a start, smashing the hologram and disappearing once again. Tobias cuts the plane's power and sends it hurtling towards the ground. Luckily, Melinda and Grant have great chemistry and are able to land the plane safely. The team splits up to get things back up and running. Ward and Simmons go looking for Fitz, who is shut up in a closet. Skye is granted permission to talk to Hannah. May goes to the cockpit to discover what needs fixing, and Coulson goes to activate a radio transceiver to send a message to HQ about the incident. While Coulson is in transmission, however, Ford knocks out the antenna. There's a brief conversation about God when Skye goes to talk to Hannah. Hannah says that she believes that God is punishing her, but Skye remembers a verse that one of the nuns told her when she was in the foster home: God is love. A simple verse, but immensely powerful. The Thor aftermath story continues as Simmons theorizes that the portal to hell that Ford was referring to is actually an attempt to create portals to an alien world. Fitz supports this by saying that there were reports of multiple portals opening up in London after the spaceship had crashed. Being a direct victim of the Fantasticapz accident, Ford now has the power to and rematerialize, just as Malekith did in Thor: The Dark World. Leo, Gemma, and Grant are continuing to restore power back into the plane when they are ambushed by Ford. He closes Simmons and Fitz in the small power closet, then proceeds to duke it out with Ward. Skye and Coulson get jumped by Tobias in Coulson's office. Tobias demands that Hannah be let out of the containment room, which gives May enough time to evade the man and get Hannah off the plane safely. Ford admits that he was the one that caused the accident with the particle accelerator. He loosened a few bolts on the machine so that Hannah would come down and do a safety check. He never meant for anybody to get hurt, he just wanted to see her. Because he likes her. There is little mention of Ward's and May's night together that we saw begin in the last episode. In the second scene, Melinda is getting a message from Phil as Grant is getting out of the shower in the hotel room that they shared for the night. They nonchalantly make their way back to the plane, and as Ward is boarding, May says, "You're late," in her stern demeanor, covering up anything that might have happened. Later, Skye and Ward are in the plane's kitchen talking, and Skye mentions that May just needs to get laid. This causes Grant to stop for a second. Fitz and Simmons, having graduated 3 years earlier than everybody else in their class at the academy, never got to pull any pranks on freshmen. Coming to this realization, they decide to pull a few pranks on Skye, since Skye hasn't been to the academy, and technically, she's a freshman. Gemma and Leo's running prank for the episode is to tell Skye how May got the nickname Calvary, that she took out hundreds of mercenaries on horseback by herself with only 2 9mm pistols to save a bunch of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Skye's not buying it though. At least, I hope she's not. The story falls apart when Skye mentions it to Ward, and he corrects her, saying that it was 20 trained assassins, and she only had 1 pistol, no horses. Further on, Coulson says that everything that was said about May's Calvary title is wildly exaggerated. There were no mercenaries, no pistols, no horses, just a welcome wagon mission that went south. He tells Skye that it was 1 civilian girl and a few of their men, being held by followers of a gifted individual. Melinda took it on herself to take out the threat and things didn't go so well. At the end of the episode, Skye, Ward, Coulson, and Simmons are playing Scrabble when Fitz comes out with cream on his right hand and face. After calling everyone out and everyone denying it, the scene switches to May in the cockpit, listening to her fellow agents with a grin on her face. Seems she has a bit of humor in her after all. That does it for this episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Fantasticapz. I hope you guys found it informative. If you did, punch the like button, and if you watched it, leave some comments below saying what some of your favorite parts were. If you're a new subscriber or new to these videos in general, I hope you'll come back to see even more. That's all for me, guys. I got a jet. Keep on keeping on.